Okay, it's 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Let's go ahead and get started. And I will share my screen so everybody can see that. Welcome to everyone and Happy New Year. I started writing something here as far as the first issue, and that's people making, you know what I'm saying here. I want to talk about this because I went to the bookstore last night, and wait a second, Bill DeWeese is here. He's about to get on. William DeWeese, you're here. Bill, you there? He's got a mic issue. He's in the voice business. What does he know about working microphones? He'll eventually figure it out.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. How's it going?
I'm here.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I was going
Good.
to, you'll get a kick out of this because I was in the bookstore last night and I was looking at just, new nonfiction books. And there's, what is it called? I can't keep forgetting the title, but I read a good bit of it sitting in the bookstore. And it made me realize, whether it's in the voiceover business, in the speaking business, in the information marketing business, there is so much absolute horse crap out there that people come up with that completely invented. Let me give you the best one here. Let me ask you and everybody who's on the webinar to answer this question. You can answer it out loud. The rest of the people will answer it silently to themselves. Okay, here's the question. How many days does it take to create a habit of something?
Well, I've always heard it's 21.
Of course. Yes. It's
I don't know where
21
it came
days,
from.
apparently. But after picking up this book last night, look at this. Let me just see if I can find it on Amazon, just so I can show you this. Where is it? Habits, and books. Let me see if I can find it. Not the Power of Habit. Of course, I won't be able to find it now. Oh man, it really, really, really annoyed me. Making habits or maybe it's making habits. There it is. Here we go. Okay, so everybody, I don't care if you buy this book, but at least go to the bookstore, pick it up, and read the first 20 pages. Because basically, just like with other things, somebody has been making stuff up and everybody has been swallowing it wholesale. And it just, this kind of stuff really aggravates me because we've all been told like 18,000 times, and everybody keeps repeating the lie till it gets to the point where people believe the lie. And so basically this is crap. It isn't 21 days. In fact,
It's not?
no, not even close. Not even close. And in fact, it's all dependent on what it is, etc. But if you were to put a number up, the guy came up with like 58. But for some things, it's much longer. And it's dependent on a number of different factors. And so this is the kind of stuff that just makes me nuts because, there's so much stuff. So anyway, if you go to the bookstore, don't necessarily buy it, but at least read this. Let me see if I click on the look inside here and see what we get here. If there's anything, I just want to see if they'll show us anything worth a doggone to show everybody else here. Yeah, okay, so let's see here. Making Habits, Breaking Habits is the name of the book, right? So let me just show you this. I can get to the first part of this. Here it is. Okay, so can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this book started with an apparently simple question that seemed to have a simple answer. How long does it take to form a new habit? Say you wanted to go to the gym regularly, eat more fruit, learn a new language, make new friends, practice music, blah, 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 blah. How long should it take before it become a part of your routine rather than something you have to force yourself to do? I looked for an answer the same way most people do nowadays. I asked Google. This search suggested the answer was clear-cut. Most top results made reference to a magical figure of 21 days. These websites maintain that, quote, research had found that if you repeated a behavior, blah, 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 blah. So it goes into this whole thing, and it's just unbelievable how absolute nonsense this turns out to be. Okay, so here's the big question. How long did it take to form a habit? The simple answer is that on average, across participants who provided enough data, it took 66 days until a habit was formed. And contrary to what's commonly believed, missing a day or two didn't much affect habit formation. The complicated answer is more interesting, though. Otherwise, this would be a short book. And he's got this chart in here that's really interesting. And so I would point everyone to this because this is just another example of how so much stuff that you assume to be true is absolute horse crap. It really is. It's just, it's like, and this kind of stuff makes me nuts, as you know, Bill.
Yes.
So anyway, other than going to the doctor today because I got sick starting on the cruise, and I've had I've been coughing at night, keeping myself up. So I finally went to the doctor. They gave me some medicine, and they looked at me like, "Oh, you're the 18,000th person we've seen with the same thing." So apparently, I have something that is curable. So I will be there
That's good.
at least for the very near future. Um, so tell me, Bill, what's up with you? Hardest working man in the voiceover business.
Yeah, well, as always, I'm so fearful that with the start of a new year, everybody will quit sending me work. Well, for whatever reason, I have no, I guess because I had not been self-employed prior to this gig, but it continues to to pour in. So I continue to be the hardest working man in the voiceover business. So that's good. I'm excited about that. My wife laughs at me because I do go through the same thing all the time.
Well, that's a typical
Um,
actor response too. Actors always feel that
yeah.
whatever job they're doing will be their last job ever, and nobody will ever hire them again.
I've been saying that for 7 years, and for some reason it just keeps, keeps coming in. So that's good. And in addition to that, we're getting ready to do the speaker to voice talent program here in a couple of weeks. So
Yep.
excited about that.
Let's show everybody that. I just had that up earlier, and I tried to post it on Facebook, but for some reason it wouldn't let me, and
Hey,
I
how are
don't know what was wrong. It said some weird thing. But anyway, anybody who's interested, there's a free version and a paid version of this. So feel free to go to Speaker to Voice Talent, and also if everybody on here who's on the webinar would please post this to your Twitter feed and your Facebook account, just give people this URL right here, speakertovoicetalent.com, and tell them they can come get the free version for free. And there's going to be some good stuff. So again, we're going to cover on January 22nd is the first class. We're covering some of the basics, and then we're going to talk about audiobooks in week 2, a week from the 29th of January. And then week 3, we're going to do commercials. And then week 4, we're going to talk about marketing. So there's a pretty good program planned. Is there anything specifically you'd like to tell us about the event, Bill?
Well, only come if you want to learn how to make money, as we've talked about before.
Right.
I mean, it really is. It's no BS. Kind of, I think, following the theme that you said here early on. I really try to stick just to stuff that is helpful and not feel. I've gone to so many. I've gotten to the place where I hate teleseminars. Especially the free ones, because it seems like there's never really any good usable content. And so I've really tried to work hard to make sure that everything that we say and do has some meaning and will actually move you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And
And
so I
really,
just hope everybody does.
yeah, and really it's because everybody has this sort of secret agenda that what they're going to do is they're going to get you on this free teleseminar, and then you're going to sell me something. Well, the only problem is if you don't deliver any content on the free version, why should I pay for your paid version? That's my question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is good. So Speaker to Voice Talent, please everybody post this to your Twitter and Facebook account. Let everybody know.
And Fred, could I just say one other thing? You don't have to be a professional speaker to gain something valuable from this. Even though it is geared towards speakers, a lot of the principles that we'll be talking about will be good really for anybody who has interest in voice work, regardless of what your background is. Maybe you're a school teacher, maybe you're a marketing salesperson, maybe you're somebody who just likes to talk publicly or tell stories to your kids at night. Whatever the case may be, you'll find something useful in this seminar.
Bill, could you give us an example? Excuse me, I'm still coughing a little bit, of someone that you know in the voiceover business that came from a very, very unlikely place or profession?
I don't know if you would consider this unlikely or not. I think a lot of people might, and that is one of my best students is a pastor. He's a bivocational pastor, meaning his job as a pastor doesn't fully support him. And I found out this he's a phenomenal storyteller. That part isn't surprising. So that would surprise some people. Also, I've been working with voice talent. I produce demos, as well. And I've got a guy that I've been working with. His name's Jim. He came in. He drove in from Philadelphia to work with me in my studio. And he's a very soft-spoken, unassuming guy. And in all honesty, I was a little nervous at first because he was the kind of guy that really had a hard time expressing himself verbally, not in terms of the words that he chose, but in terms of emotion. How some people have a hard time, like speaking out, and that was him, very timid kind of guy. And I just delivered his demo to him recently, and I was thrilled, and he was thrilled. And it's, with the right coaching, it's interesting to see what people can really do to come out of their show.
This guy was sort of like a shrinking violet, you're saying. Now, do you have a copy of his voice demo that we might be able to go to? I'm curious now.
Let's see. How can we do this? It's not on the website, so I can't access it there.
You know what you can do? Why don't you just play it on your computer?
On my end?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me access it. I don't have it on my. I have it in the cloud here. I just gotta.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to it.
So this is a guy who was very, very sort of shy and soft-spoken, and yet, even someone like him can get in the voice business. Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, and you can tell. And when you listen to it, you can tell that he's soft-spoken. I didn't turn him into a raving lunatic or anything like that.
Right.
But we were both I think pleasantly surprised. And what I told Jim was that understand that what you do now will not be what you do a year from now or 2 years from now.
You'll evolve.
They're snapshots of where you are now, but this was pretty amazed. So here it is. I'm bringing it up right now, and let me know if you can't hear it.
What length is it? What length?
Oops. It's 1 minute 30 seconds exactly.
Okay,
Can you play the whole thing, or just give you a sample?
Let's play it.
Okay. Can you hear this?
I can't. No, I can't hear that.
Pardon?
I can't hear that.
Oh, it's blasting in my headphones here. Okay. How do I get that over to you? You know what? What if I just can I email it to you? I can send the link to you right now.
You know what? Let's see here.
I'm going to.
You got somebody is new on the webinar here and is asking a question. They may not have read the what this webinar is all about. Let me remind people. These are webinars where I have a discussion with my joint venture partners that you can listen in on. So in no way is this an attempt to be something that is specifically designed for you. That's not my goal here. My goal here is to work with any of the JV partners who are on the line, like Bill, to help them improve their business. And hopefully, by your being on here, you'll be able to benefit from that. So if that's not what you expected, that's what this is. So I apologize, but that's what we got here.
I just emailed you that file, by the way.
So you know what? Let me just see here. Try and get into it. Okay. And it's a file. Whoops, Bed Bath & Beyond. That's not what I want.
Yeah, it's a link, and maybe I was trying to play it in the browser. Let me try to play it within its own program, and let me know if you can hear this.
You sent it though?
Pardon?
You just sent it?
I just sent it a minute ago.
Maybe it's not here yet. Let me just see here.
It'll be a link to Vox.net.
Okay.
For some reason, my setup's not wired to.
You know what? Send it to me within the chat function here with GoToWebinar, where you type a message in the chat. That'll work.
Okay, I can send it to you. Okay.
Send me a link.
I gotta figure out how to do this.
No, just on your little screen there. Put it in the questions.
What's this type message here?
Yeah.
I can put a file in there?
You can put a link.
Oh. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's okay. You've been busy doing voice work all morning.
Sometimes I just go brain dead.
Okay, so here it is. It's going to be coming through sometime soon.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find the link. I got to go back here.
Okay.
No
big deal.
Okay, here I got the link. I'm copying it. I'm pasting it, and I'm sending it.
Okay.
That was a brilliant idea, by the way.
Thanks. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so now let's see here. Questions. Did you hit send already or not yet?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's showing in my box in the chat box that it was
Did you
sent.
hit send?
I did, and it popped up into the, showing that it was sent.
Weird.
Crap.
I don't see.
I'm going to send it specifically to you.
Oh no, here I got it.
organized.
I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, here we go.
New Almighty Packs, All's most concentrated liquid detergent ever. An easy, convenient way to help tackle tough stains, so you can spend less time on laundry and more time with your family.
I'm on the observation deck of New York City's Empire State Building to demonstrate how much material waste management recycles.
This is top U.S. marathoner Meb Clefeghi. Meb raced in Skechers Go Runs in San Jose. Meb won. Meb raced in Skechers in New York. Meb ran his personal best. Meb raced in Houston. Meb won again. How good are Skechers Go Runs? Ask Meb if you can catch him. Yesterday, Bradley King put Peak Motor Oil into his car. And today, his car has been transformed into an example of improved engine performance and fuel efficiency, saving him money on gas. Change your motor oil to Peak for peak performance. This car is money. When you peak, you win. It was a family business. Still is today. Trek, born in a barn, raised on rocket science, racing to build better bikes. Trek, believe in the bike. The rookie, he has no clue what's going on, which is exactly why he wins. The researcher, nobody puts more time into the league and gets fewer wins out of it. And the commish, he gets his rear kissed for 3 months, and he loves every minute of it. You need to be balanced and productive. You need to manage your energy. You need AMP.
Yeah, sounds like definitely the guy next door.
Yeah, and but to get him to that level of performance, I mean, it was a lot of work because, like you said, he's very almost backward, and I did a great job.
Yeah, well, that's a good example. So anyone can do that. That's good. Now, the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, we now, if I go back to Amazon here, and I put in your name, I'm going to find up the top here. We now have 14 reviews for the book, which, by the way, is available in Kindle form only currently, as we figure out, finish up the actual. Now, the one thing we can do, Bill, is now's the time to go in here and change this from, please note this is a transcript. You can just note, please note this was a transcript, and some of the early reviews referred to the transcript version of it. However, it has now been edited into quote-unquote standard book form, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah.
So let's do that. But we got 14 reviews, 8 likes, lots of good stuff. I wish we actually want a couple of 4-star reviews here to make it more credible. I mean, it's like, this is great.
But the beauty of it is, and I understand what you're saying, but the great thing is, I mean, these are totally, nobody, these weren't fixed.
Yeah. You didn't pay anybody.
People who wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well, this is great. Okay, so now the other thing that we got to discuss then is, and let's talk about it a little bit here, which is you now have, so the point is that the Kindle book is up and running first, which is the usual way this works, which is you can get people to, to do something easy and quick and easy like the Kindle book, and that's where you should start. So next, the Kindle book then allows people to go ahead and download this, and you've been checking. You said you've been getting, maybe a sale a day or two, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I could even log in and give you the exact number if you want.
Yeah, why don't you log in and see? Because now the nice thing though is that the Kindle book, having it there. And now if we look, one of the things we can do here is let's go and take a look at the where this is coming up in terms of what number it is in. Let me just go back to itself here. because you can find out, Amazon will tell us where it is sort of standing in. So it's number 5 in radio reference books, and Kindle store under radio and then reference. So if we go to click on this one, I wonder if it'll give us the top 5 here. Yeah, the Radio Producer's Handbook is number 1. Encyclopedia of Old Time Radio is number 2. Blah blah blah. Modern Production. But yours is the best-selling voiceover book in the Kindle store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here it is. If you take a look, here's the top 100 paid. Radio Producer's Handbook. That's not what you're doing. Encyclopedia of Old Time Radio. That's not what you're doing. Inside Boss Radio. Modern Radio Production. But how to start and build a 6-figure voiceover career. If there's anybody else doing voiceover, they're not coming up anywhere close to this. And I'm assuming now, what we might want to do is, what's that other guy's, the name of that other guy who?
Harlan Hogan.
Harlan Hogan. Let me see, what category? Talents and techniques. Let's see what category he's in. We may want to change our category here. Okay, so he's got it under radio general broadcasting. You see this, Bill?
Yeah.
Maybe we should put it under general broadcasting, because if that's where Harlan's book is, that's where we need to be. So
Okay.
you may have to go in and change the settings. Do you know how to do that?
No, I mean, not offhand, but I'm sure I can figure it out.
It's pretty easy. You go to your to your desktop, not desktop, what do they call it? To your I forget the name for it. But anyway, your main page in the Kindle store,
Okay.
and you click on it, and what'll happen is you'll then be, you can upload a different image or do whatever you want, but then you'll have to save it again, and it'll say this won't be active for the next 24 hours, but don't worry, because it'll stay whatever it is until it makes the change that you're asking it to make.
Okay.
So so what I would do is, let's change that to, you know what, I can show you where I do it in mine. Here, let me just show you.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Let me show
I
you.
think add categories.
I don't think it's a category issue. I think what you do is you pull up.
Okay.
Let me just pull something that I'm not really worried about here. 7 simple success secrets. So I've clicked on that particular item, right? So then you go down to, let's see here. Let's see, target, yeah, I guess let's see, what's this? A browse category is a section of Kindle store where your user can browse the book. Yes, I guess it is. So categories, let me just see here, if we added categories. So you would go to, are you in this already?
Yeah, I'm following along. I'm into performing arts now, which is what we used before. Is that right?
I don't know if that's, I guess so. Let's just see. So if you go to
Okay.
performing arts, oh yeah, radio, and you go to radio, and you do general. We did reference. You see where I am here?
Yes.
Look at my screen.
Radio general.
We put reference. Let's put it in general.
Right. Okay, so unselect reference, select general, save. Got it.
Now, it will probably give you a message that says what? It'll say, this will not be active for 24 hours or whatever.
It's not saying anything to me. I just saved it, and then that was that.
Okay, well, maybe it allows you to change the category without it being controlled, because any substantive change to the book, they just don't want you to put a bunch of dirty words in there and have people reading them, so they usually want to check
Right.
what changes you have made.
Okay. And by the way, my sales today, I couldn't see a total just for sales to date, and for January 1st through today showed 19 sales.
Yeah, so you're doing about 2 a month, 2 a day, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
2 a day, and you're charging, let's go back to my little notepad here, you're charging $4.99, and you are getting, I think, around 70% of that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that equals, that's $5, that's basically $3.50. And so you've sold to date, let's just make it 20 times 3.5. Yeah, you've made $70 doing absolutely nothing. And so what we want to do is make that 700, and then 7,000, 70,000.
And so on and so forth.
Exactly. And so I think this is a good example. So now this is with the Kindle book. So now the other thing we're going to do is once we get the physical book up, and let's use mine as an example here just to do this. So sell your brain power. So with Sell Your Brain Power, they can either buy, as you can see here, the paperback version, $19.95, or the Kindle edition for $4.99. Now, I think in your case, what did we set the price at for the physical book?
On the book,
$14.95.
we've talked about it. It's in my notes. Yeah, 14. That was it. $14.95.
Yeah. So in your case, it's going to be $4.99 Kindle and $14.95 physical. And what happens is you see that, there's some people that just will not buy the Kindle book, but also for your purposes, the cool thing about this is when you have this up as a physical book, you can order copies for yourself, and they come quick and super well packaged, and so you can always have copies that you can take with you wherever you go. If you need to hand one out or give one to someone or sell it, whatever, you got plenty to do.
Right. That makes the best business card of all.
Absolutely,
I would imagine.
You got it. So that's the best business card, and you'll have that sitting around, and that'll be perfect when you get there. So now, let me just see here if there's anything else I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, the other thing that I'm starting to do, and you'll find this interesting, Bill, is that my Fred Info Boot Camp is starting to morph a little bit because I'm not really getting. I'm getting more individual requests for things. So I'm just setting up my first one of these, and you'll find this interesting because it's sort of the model that we did for you. Is I just told a guy, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you. I told him to give me 2 or 3 weekends that he could do stuff, and I'd do a 3-day personal / individual sort of boot camp, if you will. And so I'm going to charge him a bunch of money, have him come out here for 3 days, and work with him one-on-one. And I'm thinking that, I started out doing a lot of big presentations in front of large groups. Then I reduced that to smaller groups, and I reduced it to the boot camp size. And now, and the reason for that is I'm just no longer satisfied to see people come give me money and not see results. I just don't want that to happen. So, whether it's in a small group setting, that's not saying, I actually think when you have small group versus individual, I definitely think there are pluses and minuses to both of these. In fact, I think in some ways, small group can be, better than just an individual thing because there's that dynamic between the people, assuming it's good. But what's been your experience now? Have you sold any more of either the small group or the individual sort of voiceover stuff?
No, and in all honesty, I have not pushed it. I have not promoted it. My experience, I need to retool it. I've got to rethink it, recreate it, because my experience I'm having now has not been a good experience.
Explain.
In terms of in terms of energy expended versus money coming in.
Yeah.
The guy, it's just been a huge time and energy suck.
Yeah.
Because I set it up in such a way to be kind of an ongoing coach to this guy, which is fine. But what I found is that it's, and maybe it's my fault for not maybe more closely interviewing him on the front end, but I did not realize how much hand-holding would be required. And let me just give you an example.
Okay.
And please, I like this guy, and I'm not trying to, you understand where I'm coming from.
Sure.
But this is very typical. I received an email a day before yesterday. Urgent. I've had a client contact me about recording a project that I don't feel morally right about recording, what do I do? I'm calling around talking to people. I don't, and so I called him and I said,
Just say
you
no.
just tell them I don't do strip joints.
Yeah.
In the 7 years I've been doing this, that's what I tell my clients, and nobody's ever given me a hard time.
Yeah.
Now, but it's constantly this kind of stuff. It's not the kind of stuff that really we need to be wasting time and energy on. It's just, or maybe I expect him to automatically know too much, but a lot of the stuff is just common sense stuff that really isn't directly business related.
Yeah, it's not related to the voiceover business. It's related to like business where, if somebody asks you to do something you're not morally comfortable with, you just say, hey, it doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm doing a lot of nose wiping.
Yeah.
Which it's just really, I just don't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, and you got two grandkids you need to do that with.
Exactly. And it's just gotten to the point of ridiculous. I mean, we just, Mallory and I just, laugh about it. Because, and I hope he's not on this call.
No,
he's a good guy.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
And
he's a talented guy. And he's getting work. But I'm just amazed at the questions that I get.
But he is getting work, right?
But he is getting work, yes.
That's important. And
it is. But I just told Mallory, when I say Mallory, for those who don't know, that's my daughter, and she works for me full time as my assistant. I just said, I never want to do this again. It's just not, it's not worth it. So I just need to.
I think that you could do it again if you properly screen the person, but also I think that your time is better spent in the small group environments. And so, you may want to try and do, one of the things that you could do and would create a different price point is you could do sort of like a one-day lightning round voiceover marketing workshop. So in other words, now the maximum, because I've now been to your basement and seen where all the where the sausage is made.
Yeah.
And so if necessary, you could stuff 8 people in there. And for one day, I don't think that'd be a problem. So maybe you try and do a 9 to 5 one-day marketing whiz bang, whatever we call it.
And we've got one scheduled for April.
Got it. Okay. Do we have the do you have a link to that, or what's the?
Well, no, we don't have. I've got the domain. I don't have the content up on it yet.
Well,
it was this week.
Yeah, tell me what's going to be in that. So it's a one day, and what's it going to be called?
Yeah. Well, it's the voiceover playbook workshop. Actually, I've got a video. I've done this before and made a video of it. If you go to let's try voiceover
playbook.
Voiceover playbook. It's either a seminar or workshop. Try that one.
Okay, I've got voiceover playbook workshop.
One is to promote the event, which I don't have up yet. The content up.
That's not it.
But it's to try seminar instead of workshop. Yeah. This is a 9 to 5 Saturday event.
Okay, good.
If it comes up.
Here it is. Okay, let's hear this.
Are you ready to make the jump from having a voiceover hobby to a full-time, thriving voiceover career? Hi.
Okay, so this is promoting the one-day
marketing workshop.
Got it. And there it is. October 20th. We got to change that to the new date.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now, what did you put as your maximum number of attendees?
We're going to do exactly what you said, 8.
Yep.
For audiobook workshop and for this.
And how many?
I don't know what it says.
What are you charging? Which I'm going to increase the volume again. What are you charging him, Bill?
$6.95.
Okay. And let's see here. Is that what you charged last time?
Yeah.
Did you have a problem? Did we fill this one last time?
We had 6 or 7.
Okay. So I think, I would leave it at that price. Although, there'd be a temptation to test $4.95, but, let's keep it at $6.95. And I think so. It's $6.95. Let's take a look at the numbers here. So basically 700. We fill the house. It's times 8. That's equal to 5,600, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's, and again, you're going to feel like, I mean, this is not quite your biggest day doing voiceover work, but that's a decent day.
Yeah, it's a decent day.
Right. And so, given our split and stuff like that, it's, I know that you need to feel like it's not, the amount of work involved with hand holding this one guy versus doing these. And if you had to do these, or if it was profitable to do these every month, that wouldn't be a big deal for you, would it?
I don't know that I want to do every month.
Yeah, but
just
every other
because.
month, maybe.
Yeah, and right now we're setting up. We're doing 3 or 4 events for the year, like one per quarter.
Got it. Okay, well,
If I knew I could, yeah, but if we're going back, if I knew I could fill it up, once a month, I would be very tempted to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And because it is kind of a, now the interesting thing is, let's take a look at the ratio. You gave me your numbers the other day, yesterday, the day before, and we didn't make 250. You came out to right about 225 doing voiceover work, right?
Right.
That's for the year 2012. Okay, and in terms of total dollars generated from info products this year, it was how much?
It was about, I should say 225 was total for the year, of which about 203 was voiceover. The rest was info products.
Got it. So let's just say, make this real easy. Okay, so then it was about 25,000 in info products?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 25K. So right now you're working on about not quite a 10-to-1 ratio, but maybe a 9-to-1 ratio of your main business to your info products business. And again, for 2013, my goal would be to get that ratio up to at least, if we could, to get it to 5-to-1. And
well, I will say what we did last year was like twice what we did the year before. So we're tracking pretty well.
Yeah, and so 2014, we'd like to move this to 3-to-1, and 2015, we move it to 2-to-1, and 2016, we move it to 1-to-1.
That looks good.
Yeah, that would be the goal there. And I think that's realistic. So that, everybody should be looking at, usually very few people quit their full-time job to get into and start doing info products. Most people work these concurrently. So now let's just assume that you continue to do about 200,000 a year in info products, then this would obviously mean, this would mean 40K. This would mean around 70K. And this would mean around 100. And this would mean around 200.
And Fred, let me throw this out there. If I actually was pursuing this full-time, info products, I think I could get that up to 100,000 real quick.
I agree, but you really, first off, you can't, and you don't want to.
Right.
And so really, if you got this up to so by 2016, but my whole thing is, it'd be nice, it'd be kind of cool to do. Do you have anything on your computer that allows you to know exactly how many minutes or hours you spent in the booth?
No, I'd have to manually just track it.
But it'd be kind of cool if there was some method of knowing, because I'd like to make it so that over time, you could make it, because if these numbers worked out, would you be unhappy with us?
Not at all.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is that, over time, you're going to be able to do less voice work or the same amount at higher prices.
Yeah, and my goal for this year, and I may have mentioned this before, is I'm working on, my goal is to try to wrap up voice work by 3 in the afternoon. And then spend, those next couple of hours focused solely on my info products. And we'll see. I don't know that it'll always work out exactly like that, but that, as I set out for the new year, that's the plan.
I think that's a good plan, and I think that in setting up that plan, which I think is a very realistic one, I think that instead of, maybe instead of saying 3 p.m., I think you're basically saying the same thing, which is you're going to try and do between 7 to 10 hours a week.
Yeah, because I find that at night I'm so, it's what's left over at night, what energy I have left over,
Yeah.
so I want to give it more focused energy. And if I can, between up to a 5 or 6, I'm still, pretty strong. At night, I'm just gone.
Right.
So if I can give it really good,
I've seen you. You're sort of like you're like the Blob, sitting on the couch,
physically and emotionally.
You're sitting on the couch. The fire is going, and the dog is right by your side, and you don't want to do nothing.
I can't move. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's pretty typical with as hard as you work. But I think that this is a good goal. So really, we're saying like 7 to 10 hours weekly. And again, this is where people, a lot of people who are teaching this stuff are making up such, again, nonsense in terms of what there are people who start the info products business and in a matter of months, they're making enough money to quit their full-time job. That is not standard. That is not the average. That is an outlier. And so if we're talking about, this is a pretty good example. Bill is a good example of the kind of progression here. And I think that this is a very realistic progression. And so now in 2014, you might be able to devote, 10 to 15 hours a week to info products. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then hopefully within 2 years, after lunch, I'm doing strictly info products for the rest of the day.
Right, and maybe you want to just stay at that. You want to do half and half, and so
that'd be ideal.
Yeah, and so this I think is a very, very realistic way to look at this, and I'm excited because I know that you have to, number one, right now, you couldn't quit the voiceover business and just teach it. For a couple reasons. Number one, you wouldn't make enough money yet. Number two, why would I want to listen to somebody who's not a working voiceover artist? We know there are plenty of them out there who are teaching it that no longer do it or barely do it.
Right.
And so I think this is it's a really good program in terms of what the goals are. And I mean, I think that for you, these numbers here are probably, I think these numbers here are probably underestimating the total.
From your lips to God's ears.
I'll tell you why. The reason why, and everybody who's on the webinar should listen to this, which is because one of the things that happens in the info products business, it's like, and I know that I'm very sorry to say that, again, my SEC conference destroyed a Midwestern school. But the big the momentum, is in this business. I think that when the snowball starts to get larger and pick up a lot of speed, this is going to, I think you're going to see an accelerating growth rate for your info products business. And I think that a lot of that will come from having the book out there, getting invited to speak at various conferences. And when that happens, you're going to see an exponential growth curve.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, I didn't say it on this call. People listening might find this interesting. I was just invited this week to present a webinar to the membership of perhaps the largest, what we call pay-to-play voiceover website, which is voices.com.
And where would I see? Do they have that listed yet?
No, we haven't finalized it. They just sent me an email yesterday saying we would love for you to do a webinar. And so I've got to get back with them with a proposal, and which I will do. But I am going to be interviewing their co-founder and chief marketing officer on Monday for my YouTube channel.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, I mean... And how many... You know what? Let me see. How many voiceover trade shows? How many voiceover trade shows are there? Voiceover content.
I don't know, but I think Voices.com hosts maybe the biggest annual one. So this is a really big step in a good direction, just having a relationship with these people.
Yep. Now remember, when you speak to this guy, you say, hey, and my Kindle book is out, but my physical book will be out within the next month or two. I'd love to be able to, to maybe speak at one of your conferences if you feel I'm appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure and ask that, because if you get in front of that group in that kind of... Now, how many people generally show up at that one? Do you know? Have you been to it?
I have never been. No, I never have.
I would bet at least 1,000.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I would think so.
If you get there, and usually one of the things, if you're a speaker, oftentimes they will give you a booth space for free.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you my experience in the self-storage industry. My self-storage industry, when I was a featured speaker, I got maybe 450 people in my room, and that day I sold $65,000 worth of product.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you will have. I think it's very. I'm almost certain you would have a $50,000 info product event for your entire stay at a conference like that.
Gee, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Now, in order to do that, we would probably want to have, in addition to the book, we'd want to have a few of the main products in physical form as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those we can have either done through. I like my guys at Speaker Fulfillment Services that can do that. So there you have it. Hey, I know you've probably taken a lot of time off. Now, let me just ask, is there anybody listening on the webinar here who has any questions? I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to talk about today, and Bill's been very generous with his time to take a break from the voiceover business. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and shoot it into your question box now on anything we've covered, and I'll give you a minute or two to decide if you have anything you want additionally answered. We'll be happy to answer those if we can. But I think the trade show idea, Bill, let me just tell you, you have no idea. Not only do you make a lot of money, but you become like a rock star in the industry almost overnight.
Wow.
And I've seen this myself firsthand, and it's cool. And
And Fred, you know what really opened the door to this relationship?
What?
Specifically? The YouTube channel.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, we need to do a program on that. I've just been blown away by what it's done. I posted, I created a video this week. I put it on a couple of Facebook voiceover groups so that it would be seen by the masses. And then I was that's when I was contacted by Voices.com. Hey, we just saw your video. We'd love to have you do a webinar, blah, 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 blah.
And so again, this is Bill's YouTube channel. He currently there have been close to 120,000 views, 1,231 subscribers. This continues to go up every day. And
it's by far the most powerful tool in getting new people exposed.
Yep. And there's Hulu Guy Dave Fenoy. And this is
3,500 views.
Yeah, 120,000 total views. Now, did we set up the monetization thing on this, by the way?
Yes. Although I haven't heard anything back, so I don't know exactly how that works, but it is set up.
Gotcha. By the way, I just saw our buddy Dave Corvazier on the news last night. I turned on
Did you?
Here. Yeah.
He's such a great guy.
He's a good guy. And so good. Well, I don't see any questions, so let's go ahead and end it there. Hey,